The Fulbright program was established by the U.S. Congress in 1946. The Fulbright program in Vietnam promotes cross-cultural understanding through academic exchange. The program, administered by the Public Affairs sections of the U.S. Embassy in Hanoi, works with appropriate Vietnamese and American educational and governmental organizations to provide opportunities for study and research in various disciplines in the social science and humanities, science and technology to all candidates who qualify through an open competition of the basis academic and professional merit. The program started in 1992 in Vietnam with the Vietnamese student program, which sends the country's brightest students to the United States for graduate programs in political science, business, communication, education, and other fields.
Under the Fulbright program, every year multiple Vietnamese students go to the best U.S. universities and spend 2 to 3 years studying in the United States in their field of specialization. And they study all kinds of things from sciences to the humanities. They come back to Vietnam to further enrich the Vietnamese educational experience, to further help Vietnam grow academically as well as economically. And we have a large pool of Fulbright alumni now in Vietnam who are doing great things to help this country.
Hello everyone, and you're watching Sharing Vietnam at 11:45 a.m. on VTC 10 Netviet. On today's program, we have the honor to welcome Dr. Susan Bryant, who is working at the Vietnam Academy of Traditional Medicine under the sponsor of Fulbright Scholarship. So please join me in welcoming her on Sharing Vietnam. Hello, Dr. Susan Bryant, and thank you so much for joining us. We are curious about your decision to apply for the Fulbright Scholarship and Fellowship and be in Vietnam for about 7 months and work at the Vietnam Academy of Traditional Medicine.
I had been coming to Hanoi for the past several years as part of a nonprofit called the Vietnam Nurse Project that's sponsored by my university, the University of San Francisco. And I felt like I understood some of the challenges of healthcare in Vietnam. And so when my sabbatical year came up, I applied for a Fulbright Fellowship, and the only place that I wanted to go was Vietnam. So I was very clear. I was either coming to Vietnam or I wasn't going to do it. So I'm really glad that I was able to spend this time here under the auspices of the Fulbright Fellowship.
How have you done in Vietnam for the last 6 months working with Thanh Nhan Hospital and also working with your staff and students and college at Vietnam Academy of Traditional Medicine?
I have, my academic host is the Vietnam University of Traditional Medicine and Pharmacy, and my clinical host is Bệnh viện Thanh Nhan. So I've really had, I think, the best of both experiences. At my academic host, I have taught nursing students, I've taught the nurses there, but I have also learned about traditional medicine. So I have a much better understanding of traditional medicine practice, specifically Vietnamese traditional medicine, how it differs from Chinese and other types. And I hope to take that understanding back to the United States. There are lots of things that you can treat with traditional medicine that Western medicine has no answer for. I have watched over the past 5 months, I've watched an elderly man who had a stroke, who came in 3 times a week, and he, first of all, couldn't move his arm or anything, and now he has some movement. He can smile, and that's all due to traditional medicine therapy that he would not, Western medicine has nothing to give to him to recover from his stroke. At Thanh Nhan, I have worked exclusively in the ICU and really consulted with the nurses and been, much more intimately involved in nursing care there. So at the bedside, helping the nurses to learn new skills, to perfect the skills that they already have. So I feel like I have had really the best of the best Hanoi experience, because I have learned a lot about Vietnamese culture, traditional medicine, but I think I also have made contributions to the healthcare system and to patient care.
Working with the Vietnamese college and Vietnamese students, what are your comments on them and their willing to contribute to their country?
I've been a nurse for many years, and I think that people who work in healthcare are really quite wonderful. You make a very selfless decision to take care of others, and that becomes your life work. That is true of Vietnamese nurses and doctors also. It is a common thread, I think, across all healthcare workers. So I think that the nurses and doctors here are incredibly dedicated. They deliver really good health care, sometimes with some very great limitations, but they still have great care and compassion for their patients. And I really, it's an honor for me to work with them.
For the last 21 years, Fulbright has helped to foster cooperation between Vietnam and the United States in a wide range of areas, including economic ties. A lot of Fulbrighters had contributions to Vietnam's accession to the World Trade Organization and finalizing a bilateral trade agreement. Today, after 21 years, Fulbright program Vietnam includes 6 major programs: a Vietnamese student program, a Vietnamese scholar program, a U.S. scholar program, a U.S. student program, a specialist program, and an English teaching assistantship program. Over 600 Vietnamese and about 400 American educators have won the scholarship. In 2013, there are 16 Vietnamese excellent students received the Fulbright scholarship to study at the best universities in the U.S.
Học bổng Fulbright là một học bổng rất là danh giá, và cái ảnh hưởng mà nó đem lại cho người Việt Nam thực sự là rất là lớn, không chỉ cho những cái cá nhân có điều kiện, có khả năng ở Việt Nam được đi ra sang Mỹ để học, mà cũng đem cái sự giúp sức từ các cái bạn tình nguyện viên của người Mỹ vào Việt Nam để giúp đỡ cho sinh viên cũng như là những các cái thành phần khác trong xã hội. Thì mình thấy thực sự là Fulbright vừa là một học bổng, vừa là một chương trình có ích, vừa là một chương trình rất là hữu hiệu.
Mình đánh giá rất là cao từ cái triết lý cũng như là cái sự minh bạch trong học bổng Fulbright. Mọi thông tin của Fulbright thì đều rất là minh bạch và rõ ràng, từ cái việc mà nhận hồ sơ như thế nào, trao đổi với nhau giữa các thông tin với staff, với các bạn học viên đó, thì đều rất là cụ thể, và thực sự là đánh giá cao sự làm việc tinh thần hợp tác và giúp đỡ của tất cả mọi người.
May you share with us your opinion on the great contribution of Fulbright for the last 21 years in Vietnam to support Vietnamese students to the U.S. and the United people to come to Vietnam and further the understanding and also the relationship between Vietnam and the U.S.?
I think that any time that someone can go to a different country and live there for an extended length of time, you will always have a great benefit. I have a much greater understanding not only of Vietnamese healthcare, but of food and culture. My friends and colleagues were really wonderful about inviting me to all sorts of things for the new year. One of the doctors at the hospital got married, and I got to go to that celebration. One of the nurses had a baby, and I was invited to that celebration. So I have such an appreciation for Vietnamese culture and Vietnamese people, but I also have a greater appreciation for the synergy between the Vietnamese and American people.
Not only providing great opportunities for Vietnamese and the American scholars, Fulbright has sponsored for a lot of young Vietnamese and American to explore the other countries and bring knowledge to each other. So may you share more about that?
The opportunity to broaden your perspective, whether it's young American students coming to Vietnam to teach English, whether it's Vietnamese students going for a master's degree in the United States. The more we understand about each other, the more we can find ways to support each other and help each other and share. And I think that the great strength of the Fulbright program is making those opportunities available. I'm not sure that any of the students that I met this afternoon, though they are very well qualified, I'm not sure that any of them could afford to go to the United States for 2 years of graduate program without the Fulbright program. So you've given them an incredible privilege, but you've also given us as American universities the opportunity to broaden our perspective about international students, about Vietnam, about the Vietnamese. I mean, it's a win-win situation for everyone involved.
When coming back to the United States, how will the knowledge that you gained in Vietnam will assist you in your career, and what will be the plan of yours to keep the close relation with the country of Vietnam?
Lots of things. I have a lot of scholarly manuscripts planned, some of them co-authored with colleagues here in Vietnam, and for many of them this will be their first English language American publication. So I hope that is, that will help them in their professional career here in Vietnam. I have already received a couple of requests to come and talk to healthcare groups in the United States about Vietnamese traditional medicine. We know a lot about Chinese traditional medicine. In fact, we erroneously think traditional medicine is Chinese. But to be able to talk about that and to help people understand the differences, I also think will be a great contribution. My specific understandings, the differences between Vietnamese traditional medicine and other types of medicine really allow it to be even more comprehensive and more holistic for the patient than Korean, Japanese, some of the other areas. So I hope that I can be a good representative for Vietnamese traditional medicine and continue to come back twice a year and work with my colleagues and learn even more from them.
Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Susan Pryan, to be with Sharing Vietnam today and to be in Vietnam to share your experience and knowledge with Vietnamese people and Vietnamese doctors and nurses and students. Once again, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
That's the end of our program today. I hope that you can find wonderful information on Fulbright Scholarship and Fellowship, one of the most prestigious scholarship and fellowship in all around the world, which has helped Vietnam and the United States be closer together for the last 21 years in Vietnam. Thank you for watching, and if you have any question or recommendation, please send an email to sharingvietnam@vtc.vn. Leave you for today and see you tomorrow.